All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Today, we're going to talk about buyer reluctance. Pen and paper, everybody, get ready to take some notes. Uh, we're going to get to the little drawing behind me in just a moment. But before we do that, question for you guys. Why do buyers put on the brakes? If a couple of you want to jump in here and share your opinion on that, I would love that. Just take yourself off mute. And fear, Joe Grant,
Yep.
fear of what? Please elaborate.
Well, one of the actually a couple of the folks that I've dealt with, it was fear of home ownership because when I'm renting a house or I'm renting an apartment, if something breaks, then the landlord's got to take care of it. It's a 30-year commitment because well, I have to do it. I've never bought anything over 25,000 for this car, and now I'm looking at a $400,000 house. So it's all kinds of different fears, and it's just getting them to look at it through a different prism of well, you're absolutely right. But where do you think the landlord gets the money to repair that hot water heater when it goes out?
Okay.
And
Okay.
just ask them the questions and get them to self-discover that their fear is just an unanswered question in the mind of a consumer.
It's a really good quote. Everybody should write that down. Absolutely. Uh, it's all perception and it's a paradigm shift. So change the way you look at things, things you look at change, not necessarily a 30-year commitment, right? If I buy a home and the market's doing well, the price of the home is appreciating, I can choose to sell that home at any time and walk away with equity. So it's not really a 30-year commitment. My question, let me rephrase the question, everybody. So, why do buyers put on the brakes specifically to a market shift? Now, Carolina, talk to
I
me.
do. I wrote some things, fear, of course, but that comes with lack of knowledge. I think that's where we have to be very, we need to really dig into their why.
Um,
That's to me is key. Also, there's a lot of outside influence from family members. And boy, those parents, I'm a parent, I'm gonna be that mama. Not a Karen, I'm a Carolina. But I will tell you that that's gonna that influence, even if you, especially with the first time home buyers, I think that I mean, the checking out windows and how thin the window is and asking these questions when you're not even in a hurricane area, right? So I do think it boils down to fear. Maybe there's some lack of finances or things that they may not have told us and been upfront with us. I do think that it just encompasses all of that, and quite frankly, not to bring up the economy because I am a very positive person. I think we're going in the right direction, etc. But that conversation keeps coming up, and we just have to know how to talk to people about that.
Right. Yeah, and really pay attention to what the media is saying because a lot of people really buy into the media. And I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that I used to tell my clients once they hired me was, okay, now until your property closes, don't listen to the media, don't get on TV, don't Google. The only real estate source you have is me. Get all of your real estate information from me. So the great irony of a buyer's market is that even though the opportunity to buy is high, buyer urgency tends to hit an all-time low, which is really interesting. I mean, think about it. It's a buyer's market. Just at the time that buyers should be buying, they put on the brakes. The media becomes the excited purveyor of negative news and uninformed advice, and buyers buy it all. Darren, talk to me.
So I do an online webinar for first-time home buyers every other week, and I talk about it in my webinar that this little window in time that we have right now is an opportunity for first-time home buyers because they could submit an offer that's FHA. They can ask for seller concessions. They can do a first-time home buyer programs. Like all these things, they can ask for concessions. All these things are going to be completely off the table once the market comes back, once interest rates come down. So I talk to them about that, and it really helps them understand that even though interest rates are high and things are a little uncertain with the marketplace right now, this is their opportunity to get in and take advantage of all the programs that are not going to be available to them later.
Well done. So here's the question, everybody, and this goes right to what Darren said. Do you want to be a buyer here, or would you rather be a buyer here? And obviously, the answer is in the second spot. That's where I want to be the buyer. Just when buyers should be going all out and buying homes, they put the brakes on. The fear of paying too much seems to stop them in their tracks. There's the biggest challenge you have to get over. The fear of paying too much seems to stop them in their tracks. When should buyers put on the brakes? Well, buyers should be putting on the brakes if they're gonna slow down just a little bit, they should be putting on the brakes when you're in a red hot seller's market, when prices are going up and buyers are bidding against one another in order just to buy a house. They're paying 105, 110% of the asking price. That's when buyers should be putting on the brakes, but it's just the opposite. When buyers should have been afraid of paying too much, they weren't. And now they shouldn't be afraid of paying too much, and they are. Now, everything that I'm sharing with you, making sure this is being recorded, everything that I'm sharing with you is information for you to share with your clients in order to help them overcome buyer reluctance, in order for you to create buyer urgency. So, reluctance in the face of great opportunity becomes an agonizing, defining characteristic of a shift. Let me say that again. I'm going to say it a little bit slower because I really want you to pay attention to this. Reluctance in the face of great opportunity. Are we in a market of great opportunity right now? Yes. In most of the United States, the answer would be yes. Now, I realize with, I don't know, 70 of you on this call representing a large part of the United States and even other countries, this may not be true for you in the market that you're in. Okay, but it's true for most of us. The next question is, what are the primary reasons driving home purchases? That's really interesting. When you think about that, in a shift, buyers can easily lose sight of the primary reasons driving their home purchase. A different neighborhood, a better school district, proximity to work or recreation, a different floor plan, more space. Do those reasons change because the market changes? No, they don't. Buyers just stop paying attention to them. If you ask them, well, why do you want to buy a home? Their answer is going to be more space, different location, get closer to my parents, change school districts, all of the above. We need more space. Those things don't change just because the market shifted. With so many homes for sale, too many potential buyers buy into the biggest myth of a shift. They think they can time the market. So think about that for a moment. Timing the market, just somebody take yourself off mute and say, John, me. And I'm going to ask you to do an exercise for me real quick here, okay? So let's see.
John, I'll do it. It's John.
Okay, there, Sean. Tell me when I hit the top of the market. You ready?
There,
Tell me when I hit the bottom of the market.
there.
All right. So, can you time the market? The answer is absolutely no, you can't. There are two types of buyers regarding when it comes to timing. Pay really close attention to this, everybody, and make sure that you help your buyers understand this, okay? There are two different groups. Every single person you're talking to is going to fall into one of these groups. There are those who believe they can time the market. Sean just proved that's not possible. There are those who believe they can time the market, and there are those who believe timing will find them. The ones who believe in timing believe they can come in and out of the market and always time it to make the best possible buying and selling decision. The ones who think the opposite believe that if you just always stay in the market, then timing will simply find you. When is a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy. Are you are you ready? Are you willing? Are you able? Are you able? Are you willing? And are you waiting? If you are ready, able, and waiting, then you are not motivated to buy a home. But if you are ready, able, and willing, then you're ready. For all of you, who are you looking for? Are you looking for the buyer who is ready, able, and waiting? Or are you looking for the buyer who is ready, able, and willing? What if it was just a matter of simply finding the motivated? There's the answer right there. And in a market shift, what's the solution in order to simply find the motivated? It's really simple, guys. It's double down on your lead generation. You have to double down on the number of people that you're talking to in order to be able to find the willing. And you have to double down on your lead generation in order to maintain the same level of success that you had when the market was good. The only way that buyers ever know the market has bottomed is after it has started back up. By the way, this is the media too. And the media is, and I've been really paying attention to this for the last 20 years, and the media is always about 6 months behind the actual market. So we knew the market was shifting because as professional real estate agents, we make observations, we make forecasts based on those observations. So we saw that inventory was increasing, homes were sitting on the market longer, there were fewer offers, fewer buyers, and we could see the market was shifting. However, the media was still telling everybody it's a red hot market. They were telling everybody it's a red hot market until about 6 months until we hit the bottom and started going back up. If you look at these little dots on this map up here, those are points of realization. In other words, these are points at which we realize the market has shifted. The media says, oh, the market shifted. Well, actually, it shifted 6 months ago. The only way you'll ever know the market has bottomed is after it has started back up. And the only way that you'll know the market has peaked is after it has started back down. Gee whiz, if you listen to this recording, and please listen to this recording, it'll be on my YouTube channel here before the day is over. I want you to play that part back. I want you to write it down word for word because that's a script for your buyers. The only way for you to know that the market has peaked is when it started it back down. The only way that you know the market has bottomed out is when it started back up. Are you a buyer who believes that you can time the market, or are you a buyer who believes timing will find you? A buyer cannot perfectly time a market. No one can. They can look at indicators that will point out the direction in which a market is going, and they can absolutely mark how far it has fallen or risen. But after that, the only way to know a market has bottomed or topped out is after it has. All right, so when you look at this picture that I've drawn here, I went into AI and I asked artificial intelligence, what's the average appreciation rate for real estate over the past 50 years? The answer that I got is 6 to 7%. Over the last 50 years, appreciation for homeowners has averaged about 6 to 7%. Well, based on that, is it always a good time to buy? Yeah, of course it is. Now, here's the other thing. When you look at the market as it goes up and then it comes back down, it goes back up, you have peaks and valleys, okay? And you're either lucky or you're unlucky. Now, the unlucky buyers are the buyers who bought at the top of the market. Just a fact. The lucky buyers are the ones who bought at the bottom of the market. But can you time this? Can you do this intentionally? No, you can't. But if you're always buying, then you're in this safe zone. You're in a safe zone because you know that over time, interest rates, or not interest rates, but market appreciation is going to average about 6 to 7% per year. And perception. Why do we buy homes? What's the number one reason? We've already talked about what motivates us: change in location, better school district, more space. But bottom line, at the most core basic reason, why do we buy homes? Joe Grant nailed it. Shelter. That's what it is. It's shelter. Now, if you don't buy a home, then you're renting. And if you're renting and you take, let's just say on average, your rent is $3,000 a month, that means you're spending $36,000 a year in order to have shelter. If you bought a home and the value goes down by $20,000 in the next 12 months, who lost more money? The person renting or the person who bought a home and the price decreased by $20,000? The person who's renting lost more money. Now, if you stay in that home for more than 5 years and you go back and you look at the real estate industry over the last 50 years, with very few exceptions, and there are exceptions. So if somebody wants to prove me wrong, you can. So don't try because I'm already telling you that you can. But with very few exceptions, if you're in the home longer than 5 years, you're going to come out with more money than what you paid for the property. Even if the prices go down, they will go back up again. Remember, over the last 50 years, prices have increased by 6 to 7% per year. So even if you bought a home and the prices went down, they are going to go back up. There's two certainties. The market will go up, the market will go down. Here's the other thing I want you to know, and this is just another education piece for you to help educate your clients. If you looked at this as a trend line, all right, when the market gets above the trend line, this works like a magnet. It wants to pull the prices back down. It's called a market correction. When the prices get the bottom out down here, again, it works as a magnet. It wants to pull the prices back up, but you're never going to get in a market where prices just go up and go up and go up and go up forever. If that did happen, you'd be in a real estate market where nobody can afford to buy a home. The market is going to correct. You know the market has bottomed out when it starts back up, and you know the market has peaked when it starts back down. The safe zone is where smart people plan to buy and sell. Write that down. Anyone who buys at the top of a market is just unlucky, and anyone who buys at the bottom of the market is just lucky. Understanding buyer urgency, real important. We're going to wrap it up on this. Understanding buyer urgency, its root cause, and how to respond to a lack of it is imperative in a shift. That means for you, real estate agents, if you want to build a successful real estate business, understanding buyer urgency, its root cause, and how to respond to a lack of it is imperative in a shift when buyers are more reluctant than ever to make offers and more than willing to walk away from signed contracts. You must be prepared. You must help buyers rediscover a sense of urgency. Ready, able, and willing versus ready, able, and waiting. All right, guys, talk to me. Take yourself off mute. Raise your hand. Talk to me.
This is Sean. I had a couple of thoughts. There's a saying, time in the market, not timing the market. And when we talk about outside forces talking about the market, I always hear the word crash. And
Mm.
so I think people think buyers, sellers think they can time the market because they think the market moves fast. And it doesn't. It moves really, really painfully slow. When people say, "Oh, the market's crashing," I'm like, we just had a crash, 2008 to 2010, 2011. That was a crash. That was, 4 years on a crash. So if you're in the crash, if you're right before it, if you're right after it, it happens really slow. So time in the market allows you to buy when you're ready.
Good. Really good, Sean. If you guys go to Google and you just research real estate news, pay attention to the headlines. You know what clickbait is. The way they have these dramatic headlines because they want people to open up the article and read it. And that's what your customers and your clients are looking at. They don't even read the articles. They just look at the headlines. And like Sean says, they have dramatic headlines like the real estate market is crashing. No, it's not. All right, Hawk, you're up. Lauren, you're on deck.
Good morning. Whenever I'm talking with a buyer, I always just focus on the fact that we have the power to negotiate in a buyer's market.
Mhm.
And I never have a problem showing them how my ability to negotiate will help them get a better place.
Mhm.
It'll save them. And then, when prices go down or when interest rates go down, which is what they're always waiting for, that's when prices go up. And that's, it's like, okay, well, do you want to spend $200 less per month, or do you want to gain $20,000 or $50,000 in equity? Because that's the difference for you.
That's right.
And those are some of the ways that I handle the objections and get 5%, which is always a great showing them how strong of a negotiator I am at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm a local economist of choice. I am a strategic pricing professional. I am a fierce negotiator. Good job, Hawk. Okay, Lauren, talk to me.
I just want to say thank you for covering this topic. I have been joining our group in the past 2 weeks, getting caught up with end of the school year and all that stuff. And I also was getting caught up in the fact that I didn't have anything in the pipelines
Mm.
besides this one current deal. But you just gave me a reminder while we were talking. I reached out to someone that I know is interested in buying, and I put on my list to reach out to two other buyers that are in my pipeline to go ahead and discuss these topics. So thank you.
It's awesome, Lauren. Thanks for being here. All right, everybody. I don't see any other hands up, so that is a wrap. Hope you guys got great value today. Remember, invite your friends. Let's grow the group. And I will see everybody tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Make it a great
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Got them all.
All right.
Have a
Thank you,
great day,
John.
everybody.
Good day, everyone.